here to discuss Danielle McLaughlin, John Burnett, and Ryan Gerdusky. All right, let me start with you, Ryan. I saw a couple of tweets from you. You like this? You like this?
Yeah,
pick.
This is a great pick. This is somebody who, foreign policy realist, but wants to go hard on ISIS. Trump supporters love him. They love him from the beginning. He was one of the early people we all wanted to see get this position. So we're happy. I mean, this is not a Secretary of State moment between deciding people we don't like. I mean,
right.
We do like this.
Because it feels like so far you've had a line, right? You had a piece of paper with a line, and those insiders, outsiders, right. Or establishment, anti-establishment. Right. This is the guy who was on both lines, right? You had to erase the line because both sides of the Republican Party, they were rooting for this pick.
Right, and I think the Democrats would too, but they're actually bringing in this rule that the Department of Defense had until, or I should say the Congress had up until today, which prohibits anyone from being appointed as Department of, or Secretary of Defense who hasn't been out of the military for at least 7 years. So they're trying to make that a stipulation because there's only been one waiver granted since 1947.
Okay, and I understand that John McCain is working on legislation to try to get around that, but already Gillibrand, right, from upstate New York.
But he's shown that he has a heart of compassion. Also, he has
so can he be blocked? Can this be blocked? I'm not sure. I don't know how it works.
Well, they need 60 votes to get it through.
Okay.
So they would need enough Democrats to be behind it in order for it to pass.
Well, let's talk about a statement that just came out, and maybe this might change the dynamics. It's from Ash Carter. Quote, "I've known General Jim Mattis for many years and hold him in the highest regard. I will continue to do everything I can to help ensure a seamless transition at the Department of Defense." Listen, that's what people need, right? Don't we need more of that, Danielle?
Yes.
Not this kind of bitterness that we're seeing from the Bernie Sanders of the world and the Gillibrand. What the heck is what's going on?
I think what the senator needs to do is literally pick her battles. And this is a man who served our country for 40 years. We're pleased because he doesn't want to entirely tear up the Iran deal. This is a man who has served us, who is well versed in the history, in the culture, and the people of the Middle East. We need someone in that role. And there was a legal and constitutional reason for having this separation. You know, this is something that's in the Constitution. The president has war powers, but he can only wage war and pay for war with the help of Congress. So there are deep democratic reasons for having this.
You agree that your fellow Democrats who want to oppose this are making things worse for the party in America?
I think we have.
The stakes are high.
The stakes are high. Look, we have some battles to pick. We are concerned about Jeff Sessions. We're concerned about Tom Price. I think that this is something that we can agree on and think we should agree on.
All right, so here's the thing, Ryan. We're talking about a guy, right now, it feels like, particularly with this carrier deal, that President-elect Trump is becoming a John Wayne-esque type of figure, or maybe FDR-esque type of figure, you know, carry a big stick, you know, maybe not have to use it all the time. It feels like Mattis is like, hey, I don't want to use it. I'll have tears in my eyes, but if I use it, that's all she wrote.
Right, exactly. And this is not the most controversial pick he has. And I think that there are enough Democrats, both in red states who are up for election in 2018, who don't want to insult the military by voting against and blocking a military man from getting this position. And enough Democrats who sit there and say, yeah, we have bigger battles to fight. I actually would like a transportation bill to get through. I would like this to get through. I would want to work with Trump on something. So let me not have this one fight.
Then let me throw this at you guys, the Republicans on the panel. Next week we get a Secretary of State. If it is Romney, do the picks so far mitigate the sort of rumblings and anger that we've heard for the last couple of weeks over the speculation? John, I'll start you first.
Absolutely. I think, well, you know, there'll be a certain cohort, right, that wanted Mayor Giuliani. However, when you look at the totality of the picks, he's picking insiders, he's picking outsiders, he's picking people in the middle. So what he's trying to do is coalesce the party, which I think he's done a great job, and that's making the Democrats upset. It's causing hysteria.
I think he's going to upset a lot of Republicans.
No matter
what, he can't win at this point.
Romney is just like...
Romney's going to be a big gut check to a lot of Trump supporters.
Heidi Heitkamp, North Dakota, should she take the job if he offers her a job?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
She has no re-election.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Trump can stand up to the opposition, though.
Yeah, well,
we'll
we've seen that. No, we won't see. We've seen it, okay? Now you got to go revive that carcass. Yeah.
Trump take two.
Thanks a lot, guys. So some folks say, joining me now, Jillian Melcher, Danielle McLaughlin, Gianno Caldwell, and Gina Loudon. Gina, I'll start with you. Golly, I mean, you know, we talk about relitigating things, and they're sticking to their guns, and it was pretty fiery, but it feels to me, again, that the Democrats really did not hear the true story of this election.
Yeah, this is really, I mean, you know, the definition of insanity, as we all know, is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. The Democrats don't appear to understand that they lost on the very narrative that she was spouting last night. They lost on the demagoguery over race and talking about things like the environment, while the American people were worried about the economy and jobs and terror and national security. And that's how President-elect Trump won. They don't seem to want to acknowledge that. And I think as a result, they're probably going to keep losing. Where's the apology to their voters and supporters for the fact that they handled this election so badly?
You know, Gianno, I remember that speech that they were talking about. It was early in the summer, I think in Vegas, and Hillary Clinton had advertised it as an economic speech, and they threw everyone off with the alt-right because she had to explain what it was because 99% of Americans hadn't heard of it. Then she had to explain the threat and explain the connection to Donald Trump, and it was all muddled, and I think that was one of the big mistakes of their campaign.
Yeah, I agree with you, Charles. Absolutely, I didn't know what it was, and I think many people had to scramble to figure it out. I think that what they're really missing is the fact that Barack Obama in 2008 and 2012 won 700 counties twice, right? 700 counties, and Donald Trump won 33% of those counties, over a 1/3. That tells you right there that the American people are tired of the bullying tactics of the left. They know that the left is sound deaf, tone deaf to what the American people have wanted, which is they wanted roads, they wanted bridges, they wanted to make sure that there weren't folks coming into the country illegally. So instead of saying we messed up, we chose a message of elitism, they decided to say, oh, it's all about racism. Well, how could that be the case when Donald Trump got 33% of the same votes as President Obama got twice?
Right. You know, I mean, we even saw individual instances. I know in Texas there was one county where a black woman was elected sheriff and Donald Trump won by 30 points. You know, so and there were many of those examples. And here's the thing, Jillian, I think what the Democrats keep doing as a mistake is they keep trying to say, okay, Donald Trump is one thing, and that means his voters are the same. And of course, the deplorable speech was an example of that. And I just think they're digging themselves in a gigantic hole.
Yeah, look, I think there are good reasons and bad reasons that people voted for Trump. I think picking on Kellyanne Conway was not the way to go because to a lot of people, she represented the good reasons, the economic anxiety.
Would we be holding her up as a feminist icon? Would she be on the cover of Time magazine? No, really, wouldn't she be like the new feminist? She would have she would be posed the Statue of Liberty, the new feminist icon, leading the way, the first woman to lead a presidential campaign.
And I think she did a phenomenal job for Donald Trump. That said, I do think that it's fair to address the concerns about the alt-right, and it's hard to deny that happened. I mean, talk to David French, talk to Bethany Shondark, talk to Ben Shapiro. That happened a lot.
The average voter in Ohio who voted for Donald Trump, that wasn't their motivation, though.
It wasn't, but I think Trump advanced that narrative when, for instance, he said racist things about a judge when he tweeted out alt-right memes, Pepe the Frog. Those things gave an impression, and choosing someone like Bannon, who has said that Breitbart is a platform for the alt-right, doesn't help Republicans' case that that's not a sizable part of their party.
Well, here's the thing, Danielle. I think it's a huge mistake for the Democrats to keep going down this road because, again, the average voter is taking this very personally, and they're saying, hey, you've got me all wrong. Not only did you ignore my pleas for better jobs, higher wages, the fixed trade deals, now you're calling me a racist.
Look, Hillary Clinton on numerous occasions, including the infamous or famous deplorable speech, made it very clear that she was not talking about all of the Trump supporters. And
well,
maybe
no, during the
Democrats...
speech, she made it clear that she thought half of them were
and then she walked
it
back. And then she walked it back. Donald Trump never walked back a single thing that he said on the campaign trail for over 18 months. And there were plenty of things that he said that were truly offensive. So I think we can call
deplorables, a basket of deplorables who were not even redeemable in a country that prides itself on redemption?
She was wrong when she said it was half. But the other thing that's not said about that speech is when she talked about the folks who were worried about jobs, who were worried about immigration. Hillary Clinton did have a tax plan. Hillary Clinton did have a plan for immigration.
Yeah.
You know, she had all these plans, and I think
the only problem,
Julian's right.
She kept telling us to go to the website and read 400 pages, and nobody wanted to do that.
Maybe she had too many plans.
Guys,
I think it's probably true.
Hey, I want to take a minute right now, please, and just say thank you to the viewers.